Hello, good morning, and welcome to Bill Ricardi's weekly Patreon update. I, of course, am Bill Ricardi, a creator and purveyor of fantasy novels. Any weirdness you hear in the background is Loki going crazy as usual, so let's begin, shall we? This week we're going to be talking about the beta of A Falconer's Guide to Dying. We're going to be talking a little bit about the cover, which I'm not quite ready with, but we might have an art preview coming up. I'll let you know. We'll be talking about the work that I'm actually doing on My Foxy Boyfriend at the suggestion of someone who is reviewing it. Talk a little bit more about that. And finally, plans for the weekend and some things that I just got to get done as far as writing is concerned. So let's start the start. First, A Falconer's Guide to Dying. We are now delivered to our two primary beta readers who read almost all of the books in this particular series, in all of the Panos, the original trilogy as well as this trilogy. And you'll see them cited at the start of the book, so I don't have to hold back names. That would be Tim and Ian, both of whom are, just excellent friends and, people who are very near and dear to my heart. We live thousands of miles away now, but, they haven't stopped being friends. So lots of thanks go out to them. The initial feedback has been strictly clerical so far. So and that's as intended. The first run through for the beta readers is supposed to be technical, and then the second one is supposed to be artistic. But the good news is no continuity errors so far. They haven't gone particularly deep yet, but there's some fairly complex stuff in the first three chapters. So good, good stuff so far. And really only very minor wording issues. So made some swaps there. But for the most part, I'm letting them do their thing. So what am I doing with my time while that is resting? Well, as far as creatively, typos I'll still fix. I don't have any problems with that. I can be pretty, clinical about it being a typo and it being, needing to be fixed. So that's fine. I won't artistically touch it until they are completely done with all their passes. So what have I been doing with my time? I received feedback from a potential publisher. And that potential publisher is actually another old friend of mine from a different community, which is great. That old friend basically said, listen, there's some changes that I'd make to the book. And those changes are going to involve, some extra writing, which is fine. It was short to begin with. I'd love to add another 20,000 words or so, to get into the aspects that this particular person wants. But interestingly also said, and you should add recipes. Now, the book is, of course, about a cook. And some of those cooks' experiences are indeed drawing from my experiences, including some of the more strange dishes that I like. And, so some of the odd cooking experiences that I went through over the course of moving from Massachusetts to California to the UK, etc., etc. And the various cultures that I've been exposed to. Actually, some fairly broad food cultures. If you look at East Coast versus a kind of more liberated West Coast U.S. versus the U.K., who has done a lot of the whole colonization and bringing food from around the world back into the U.K., it's been really interesting. So I said, yeah, why the heck not? I've got my own twists that I always put on these recipes, and I've put them in the book already and I've explained them, so why not put the actual recipes in there? So every few chapters there's going to be a cute lead-in with a recipe that's used in that chapter somewhere. And there's some funny ones, from people who don't necessarily know how to cook so well. And there's some detail ones, and there's some classical ones, and there's some quick ones. So it's everything in between. And it's all stuff that I've seen done or done myself. So there you go. It's going to be fun. I'm adding those recipes as we speak. doing a little bit more research, comparing my recipe bookmarks to what I actually do, to what the experts say you should do. I've been doing some quick cooking experiments. So it's been an odd week for writing, where it's very food centric. But food is always a theme in my novels in some way or another. We talk about food. So there you go. That is what I've been doing with the rest of my week. That and some advertising stuff and various other things. So expect in the next version, the kind of finalized version, the professional version of My Foxy Boyfriend, expect that to be filled with some recipes. I'm going for about 10. So there you go. Finally, what am I doing this weekend? This weekend is going to be fantastic. I have in my not so copious spare time been playing a lot of Magic. Anyone who follows my Twitter knows that I am a Magic Arena fiend. I've hit Mythic again. That probably doesn't mean anything to any of you, but I've hit Mythic in all but one season, and that season was a release season, so I just didn't have the time. This is a release season as well, but I was able to hit it pretty quick this time around, so thank goodness. But I might do a little writing about Magic in my spare time. So that's something I may do. Just some nonfiction, and get it out there and talk a little bit about my process and what have you. How to reliably do these sort of things in your spare time, rather than having to dedicate 20-30 hours a week to it. So anyway, that's that. As far as the weather here in Belfast, it's getting cold, folks. Wrap up out there. Hopefully you're in a warmer part of the country, or you're in a warmer part of the world. But wherever you are, take care of yourself. Get out there this weekend. Get some fresh air, but make sure that you are properly prepared. Everyone have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. See ya!